let's get started with battle number 3. As you can see from this beautiful transition, we have the Philadelphia Infinite Fusions and the Raichu Raiders. Let's get into the Philadelphia Fusions team. We see it led by SB playing for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, currently at 14th at 1-6. Unfortunately, only having one win, but this is still a team that's not to be slept on. Like looking at the knockout spread, almost all of their Pokemon, about half their Pokemon have a knockout. So this team is not to be like, hey, they only have one knockout or they only have one win. How am I not going to take this? Like this is a team that can just be fantastic, especially with this Toxapex. This OU Toxapex at 3-5, something that can just chonk hits and poison you and kill you and just stall you out. Toxapex is so scary and I don't like it, but it's so good. We see the Yasui and Decidueye as well at 2-5. Another really good Pokemon that just unfortunately has not been able to put in the work that it should have been able to. I don't know words. But you see the Yuyumon of this team, the Espeon at 6-6, the namesake of this team, obviously SB. The Espeon at 6-6, and the Floatzel not has been brought yet, which is kind of weird because Floatzel's actually a really good Pokemon. Just hasn't shown up. The Argumons being the Zoroark at 0-1, the Typhlosion at 1-2, and the Sigilyph not being brought yet either. I do want to see more Sigilyph actually because I've heard it's really good, but I think it's mostly only good in double battles. I could be wrong though. I don't know any double battle strats, so I'm just guessing. The Enumons, the Linoon is at 1-1, the Drapion at 1-2, and the Aerodactyl at 0-1. I forgot what I was gonna say. Wow. Okay. Cool. I'll just move on then. The Pigmons of this team: the Murkrow at 1-2, Meowstic at 0-6, Unpheasant at 1-6, and Excalibur having not shown his face yet. This Meowstic is at 0-6, but it has been really good at being able to set up the screens. The Prankster screen setup is really strong for this, and the Murkrow having Prankster too is just really good. Definitely something to watch out for. Any thoughts on this team?
I want to see more Murkrow. Murkrow's the
Mm-hmm.
current meta killer for the current generation. I love it.
Oh, definitely. Murkrow is
So funny.
yeah. Murkrow's fantastic. It's one of those Pokemon that you just don't expect. Like you don't know what's coming with this Murkrow. Like it can paralyze you or it can just do some what a wow my brain. It could set up Tailwind. It could. You know what? I'm just gonna move on. Would you like to introduce this next team?
Oh, what is that shirt? So the next team is gonna be the Raichu Raiders, led by Hazel. With no bio. The bio's a secret, so it's a spoiler note right now. And they're playing for P-Flag.
I've told
We
them to make a
currently
bio. They don't.
It's a secret. Only cool people can see it. That's why I can't see it.
Oh, okay. That's why I can't say. Okay,
We
fair.
currently in 10th place with 3 wins and 4 losses, but that's still nothing to like. That's still a lot though.
Yeah, this team is really
Yeah.
even. Um,
Yeah.
like the definition of you win some, you lose some. Like
So starting off with their OU Pokemon, they have Azumarill at 0-1 and Breloom with 9-4. One of my all-time favorite Pokemon. I love Breloom to death. It's like my second favorite Pokemon overall.
Breloom's
Uh,
so good.
When you go to the UUs, we have Diggersby at 0-1 and Staraptor at 2-1. Staraptor being another one of my favorite Pokemon. It's terrifying when you get set up. When you go to the RUs, you have Goodra at 3-4, Emboar at 3-5, and Crocodile at 1-5. All three of them putting in plenty of work in the past battles. When you move on to the MUs, you have Appleton at 1-5, Bailey, who hasn't shown her face yet, but they will. I believe in them. And Vanilla
I
at
believe.
0-1. And then you go down to the PUs at, I don't know how to say that one, at 2-1.
Oh,
Cinchino?
Cinchino. Cinchino
Cinchino?
is how I say it.
Cinchino at 2-1, with Lilligant and Dewblade both at 0-0, and the namesake of the team Raichu at 4-6. Raichu putting in plenty of work as well.
So much work. Like,
Yeah.
that Raichu was something that I was not expecting to be doing as well as it has been. Um, yeah, I was completely blindsided last week when, like, they've been bringing the same 6 Pokemon up until my battle last week when they just changed it up on me. I'm like, oh, um, okay. Um, yeah, the Staraptor able to get some knockouts and Shino able to get some knockouts and just showing that this team is not something to be messed with. Unpredictability is really great in this league, and they proved that last week by bringing just completely, like, wasn't expecting it. Also, hi Brody, how are you? I just caught you off guard with a grass knot. Yeah, I was luckily able to prepare for it, but yeah, that was scary. Let us see. Yes, let us. I said let us. The starting lineups of these two teams. We see from the Philadelphia Infinite Fusions, the longest team name, which is fun to say. We see the Unpheasant coming back, the Drapion, and the Floatzel making its first ever appearance. I'm happy to see that little Floatzel boy. We also see Linoon that's kind of hiding behind the Toxapex, and the Hisuian Decidueye coming back as well. The Raichu Raiders continuing to bring some different Pokemon. I'm really happy to see that. The Raichu, of course Raichu's going to show up. It's their namesake Pokemon. The Azumarill coming back. The Staraptor coming back. Vanillix, Cinccino, and the Breloom coming back after a little week break. A little week off, I should say. Two just really strong looking teams here, but two completely different looking teams. We do see more stall heavy on with the Toxapex here. The Drapion could be a little bit more solid too. We do see a little bit more offensive here with just more of the fast, hard-hitting Pokemon on this team. I mean, Floatzel and Decidueye are pretty fast and hard-hitting, but only Battle 3. Yeah, I actually take my time when I have a co-host, Mizu, so, like,
Hey,
yay.
Mizu.
Let's see the starting lineups of these two teams. Not the starting lineups. Let's see the starting Pokemon of these two teams, and let's get into things. Philadelphia Infinite Fusion leading with the Hisuian Decidueye, with the Raichu Raiders leading with the Vanillix. Setting up that snow right away. Also, this is Gelato with me, the Rhythm Roll Times. A Blizzard doing so much damage to the Decidueye, but not too much. The Trailblaze then able to do a little bit of chip damage and boost the speed of this Decidueye. But the Ice Shard doesn't knock out Decidueye. The Triple Arrow is then coming through to take down that Vanillix. That priority move almost ruining the Decidueye's day, but it did not. The Azumarill then coming back out with the Aqua Jet. The priority Aqua Jet able to take down the Decidueye. Yes, Mizu. The Floatzel then coming out to replace it, with the Bulk Up then being set up by this Floatzel. And then Knockoff then to take off the leftovers of this Floatzel coming in from that Azumarill. The Azumarill then hard swapping into that Cinccino, with another Bulk Up being set up by the Floatzel. But the outspeeding Bullet Seed, of course, Skill Link is going to make sure it hits 5 times and take down this Floatzel. Really good play by the Raichu Raiders here, with the Unpheasant then coming in. But the Rock Blast is able to outspeed. It is going to hit 5 times. Is it enough to knock it out? It hit 4 times, so it's not running Skill Link. Interesting. The U-turn from the Unpheasant. Do a little bit of chip damage to the Cinccino with the Drapion then coming in. The Tail Slap now outspeeding and doing a lot of damage to this Drapion, hitting 5 times. But the Landsat Berry coming in from the Drapion. The Cross Poison critting and taking down the Cinccino. Breloom then coming in. The Mach Punch, though, is able to obviously outspeed and take down this Drapion. Toxapex then coming in. The Bullet Seed going to do only 2 hits, though, with the Toxic then being set up by this Toxapex. Oh, but it's not running Poison Heal, so it is going to get hurt by the Toxic. The Raichu then replacing the Breloom, with a Baneful Bunker being set up by the Toxapex, but obviously not doing anything. The Volt Tackle, though, ouch, doing so much damage. And the Recoil doing a little bit of damage, too, with the Toxic then being set up by the Toxapex again. 2 Pokemon now poisoned on the Raichu Raiders team. The immediate swap from the Raichu into the Azumarill, though, with another Baneful Bunker being set up, but failing on the switch. but the switch from the Toxapex into the Unpheasant with a knockoff to take down the Choice Scarf from the Unpheasant. Interesting. The Unpleasant falling to the knockoff. The Toxapex at 75 HP now coming back with the Baneful Bunker being set up with a knockoff again, trying to knock off the item from this Toxapex, but getting poisoned in the process. The Linoon then coming back in. Another knockoff, though, doing a lot of damage to the Linoon, but not enough to take it down. It wouldn't have taken it down anyway because it was on a focus sash. With the extreme speed coming through, the Citrus Berry, though, is going to bring the Azumarill back to over half HP with the Aqua Jet able to take down the Linoon. Just this Toxapex left against the rest of this team. Can the Toxapex stall enough? The Toxapex is back to full HP from the Regenerator. That's the word. But it's not. Its Black Sludge is now knocked off out of this Azumarill. Another Baneful Bunker, though, trying to just stall out as much as possible to try to just survive without the recovery from the Black Sludge now. Another knockoff, though, doing a little bit more chip damage, with a knockoff doing a little bit more chip damage back to this Azumarill. It looks like Azumarill, though, only has one more turn left until it falls to the poison. The Belly Drum. Interesting choice there. The Azumarill falling. Interesting. The Raichu, though, coming back out. This might be over for the Toxapex. You know a Voltago's coming through. The only way to survive from this is to get, 5 Protects in a row, which does not work. Oh, but the Toxapex survives on 2 HP. The knockoff doing a lot of damage, taking down the Choice Band Raichu, and the Raichu falling to the rest of this Toxic. But a full HP Staraptor, though, is going to outspeed and take down this Toxapex. The Raichu Raiders being the winners of this battle. A really, really good showing from the Philadelphia Infinite Fusions, though. The Toxapex, of course, doing so much stall work, but it was not enough. What do you think of this battle?
The belly drum was so great. I loved it. Regenerator on Toxapex with Black Sludge is such a fun strat. I love running Regenerator Black Sludge on any poison type, honestly.
Yeah, cough, Glorian Slowking.